Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everyone to the Emotional Entrepreneur Show with Summer and
Jen. I did it different. I'm going to do it different every week now.
you crack me up. Well, welcome everyone. I hope you're following us on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram. We are so glad you're here with us. Today we're going to be talking about Creativity Unleashed, turning ideas into impact. We are so excited to be here. We are here every Tuesday talking a bit about a new subject, and we're so glad you're here with us. So let's get right into this. Creativity Unleashed and how we're turning those ideas into impact. What does that look like for you as a business owner? Or as somebody that works for somebody else and you want to get creative, are you infusing that creativity into your work, into your business? And what does that look like? How are you doing that? Do you have a process for that? Or are you just letting it happen? Like, what would Freud say? He would say essentially, let it, just flow out of you and let it just, free association. That's it. Free association. So is it free association? Do you have a process? What is it? Jen, I'm going to turn this over to you because there are certain things that I do want to talk about, but you just wrote a book about creativity and money, creativity and mindset. Your book just won an award for a creative, like one of the most creative covers. It's a best-selling book. It's a beautiful, I mean, when she released this book and even before, and I got to see it, it is stunning. I love the cover of your book. Absolutely. Do you have the book? Do you have a copy around?
I don't think so. I think it's over there. I don't think it's here.
Where's mine?
No,
I think mine's on my book.
I could go over there. I don't have it here.
But it's beautiful. Trust me, it's beautiful. When you start incorporating creativity into your mindset, into the things that you do, into the things that you create, like a book, like your business, like a program. What is it? Yeah, Mike. Hey,
Thank
Viviana.
you guys.
Yeah, big congratulations. Standing ovation. Not only is she my partner, but she has her own business. She writes her own book. She is a TEDx speaker. Jen has done so much, and she is so creative that's why I kind of want to turn it over to her for a minute, because I think that Jen can really speak to how to infuse creativity and turn those ideas into impact. And this is something that's really important as we evolve, right? As we come into the new year, how are you doing this so you find yourself in a place of success and blending that with creativity? Jen?
Well, first off, thank you guys. I really appreciate it. So, creativity, I think sometimes we make the mistake, or, we may always tend to look at it like, oh, it's painting, it's drawing, it's something artistic, and that's not necessarily completely accurate. It doesn't necessarily mean like it has to be some kind of artsy fartsy thing. So, being creative is like, using your imagination. How are you using those ideas that you come up with? That's a part of the creative process. Think about writing. It's not necessarily just people who can paint and draw. Because sometimes we hear those phrases, I'm not artistic or I'm not creative. And I'm like, everybody's creative. Everybody has creativity within them. And so when it comes to, your work and whatnot, especially if you're an entrepreneur, I think it's really, really important to always tap into that. What are those ideas that you come up with? What are those things that light you up? We run into conversations with people all the time, like, oh yeah, and it could be anything. Oh, I've been thinking about creating this succulent plant business, or I've been, thinking about, helping people that have disabled dogs. I mean, that is being creative, where
Yeah.
people come up with ideas that are, that solve real world problems or solve problems for people, like from everyday life. And that is a part of the creative process. And so when it comes to developing your business ideas, or even within your work, let's say you are working for a company, that is how it makes things, run smoothly. That's how using the innovation and creativity and the imagination of, like, how can we do this differently? How can we do things more efficiently? How can we do things more effectively? Like, and who doesn't want that, right? It's like, if we can do things in a way where it makes things easier and smoother and efficient, and also, allowing us to come up with these ideas, that is all a part of the creative process. And I think sometimes, if we get complacent, if we get, very stuck in our ways, or you hear these phrases, especially in corporate, right, or regular work, you just hear things like, oh, well, that's how we've always done it. And,
Oh,
right.
that's like poison to my ears. Yeah.
Right, it's like,
Right.
that's like the kiss of death when we hear
Yeah.
those phrases, like, "Oh, that's how we've always done it." And I think it's such a missed opportunity, especially when you have somebody new joining the team, and or you have somebody, that thought of an idea and then it automatically gets shot down. It's just like, how can we just allow that space for that particular idea to be explored? And you may not approve of it right away, but don't shoot it down right when you hear it. Like, I think one of the best things we can offer each other is like, that's interesting, like, maybe we can explore that, because you just never know until you explore it. You won't know if it's going to be a good fit, it won't work, or maybe you only take bits and pieces, and then you realize, like, okay, with what we're doing now, these are these some of these things that you came up with, those would be great if we put them over here. But when we allow that, it's like, it just even just me describing, I think about how much of it can create an improvement in the environment and in the culture. One, and I'm thinking about, like, our core mentorship solutions, how people want to be seen and heard. People want to feel like there's a purpose, that their ideas matter, that they're being heard. And, allowing people the space to offer up ideas and to share their creativity and things that they're coming up with. And on the other side, receiving it openly and being open to considering it. I'm not saying approve everything and, hey, we're going to take everything, but at least give the opportunity for people to have the space and platform to voice it, and then give them the space to create that space where you're like, hey, let's explore this. Maybe it might work. It might be a great idea. And if we're all on the same page and the goal is to improve processes or processes, you know, processes, um, or if you're from process, I like that word, process. Yeah,
It's
it's like, you know what? Why wouldn't you want to explore that? Why wouldn't you? And I can see how when we allow those things to happen on both ends, like, we can change the culture, we can change the improvement between the communication. And then, like, creativity and imagination are just one of those, like, magical things that can, on a it's such a simple thing, but on a big scale, it can change so much.
oh my gosh, so much. So much. And if you're willing to try it, you're willing to take that. It's not even a risk. If you're willing to try something new that's a little different, that just brings life and energy into what you're currently doing. And to me, that's exciting. And I want to talk about something before I get to some of the tips that we have. Last night, I was watching one of the news channels, and there was a young man on there who helped move forward, a political opponent, right? And or a political somebody he was working for, not an opponent, but somebody he was actually supporting and working for. And he was making suggestions, and he said, and he was a young man, so probably in his mid 20s, maybe 26, 27 at most. And he said, I would come up with ideas, I would ask questions, I would push back a little bit, very articulate, very incredible young man. And he would get text while he was saying it, saying, keep your mouth shut, we don't need your stupid ideas, these kinds of things. And I was just like, whoa, Wow. And maybe that's why there was a reason why that particular group lost with
Mm,
the young folks, right? Because they weren't considering new ideas, they weren't looking at that demographic. And again, when you have a strategy, whether it's a service or a program or um, that you're offering, think about who you're pitching this to. Think about your demographic. Think about who you're trying to reach. And so, as I was watching this young man, he said, he's running for a political office now, public office. And so he's like, if you want to be of support, if you want to help me, and I'm like writing down his name, going, you know what? I have a program. I have a program that's talking exactly about why we need this program, right?
right.
Because there are a lot of people who are not open to new ideas, creativity, new process, all that stuff. And they're texting this young man going, shut it down. We don't need those questions. Those are dumb ideas. And I'm just like, whoa, how could you even think that? Like, that is so closed off. And if you're thinking about evolving, if you're thinking about your own success with your business, why aren't you thinking about being a little bit more creative, doing things a little differently, incorporating some new ideas? Jen?
Yeah, you made me think of oh gosh. So yeah, as most of you know, like I've done a lot of work with startups, right? And there's one that I was with a couple years ago, and I was the oldest one, and I was like 45 at the time, and everybody was a millennial, and it was so cool because they had a different way of doing things. Like it was great. It was great. I never felt like I was so out of place. It was wonderful, and it was really cool to see like they just were on top of things. Like this is a new system. This is what and here was the cool thing. They had relationships with people of all ages, some that were like retired, people that
Right.
were in the financial industry for 30, 40 years. So it's like they they were a great example of m totally, like, cross-generational. It was wonderful to just
I
witness.
love that.
Yeah, and
Love
then
that.
there's another company I've done work with, and it's
Let me stop you here for a
yeah.
second. Before you go on to this next company, that one company that you were referring to or, talking about, are they a success? Are they
Oh,
being
yeah.
successful in what they're doing?
Growing incredibly fast. Incredibly fast. Like,
Yeah.
it's so wonderful to witness, and, so I had that experience, and then I went somewhere else, right? And I'm trying to take what I learned there and trying to put it here, and I'm just like, it's not moving as fast as I want it
Yeah.
to, and it's frustrating, and I'm like, These things have to change." So I went from one place where I'm like, "Okay, ideas, creativity, all the things we've been talking about the last 10 minutes," and then I go somewhere else, and I'm like, dude, we have got to change this. This is like this. It's not like this in this industry anymore. Like, trust me, I know because I was just there, and so we need to bring this in here. And then I'm kind of hitting some resistance and stuff. So it's frustrating. And then I think about how there's companies out there that don't implement the ideas and innovation that's out there, or what we talked about earlier about like, oh, well, that we this is how we've done it. And if you don't want to change what ends up happening is the rest of the world is moving forward. The systems, the thought ideas, everything starts to move forward, and then you're gonna look up one day and you're wondering like, well, you're gonna start slowly feeling like sales are going down, there's a decline, because everybody else is seeing the innovation that other people are implementing, and it depending on what you are doing, like there's a core product or service that you do, and it's but I think it also has to do with like if your branding is so strong and like you're just like the flagship company that is well known for that one thing, you can probably hang on to tradition and ride off of that. But if you're in a sea of everybody else and you don't have that established, like your sales are going to decline. And then eventually, because the lack of innovating and the lack of implementing new ideas or being open to this creativity and imagination and shooting down, or like those people said to this young guy,
Young guy.
I feel like those are the companies that eventually die off and look up on one day like, well, we're about to file bankruptcy. It's like, well, gee, I wonder why. it's
Yeah,
It's like
absolutely.
it doesn't make any sense. Oh, Bibiana, said some great things in the
Juliana said, let me read these. Okay. She said, I agree, Jen. To me, being creative is about finding a new way or a new perspective about something familiar. That was very much like the experience in my last corporate job. They didn't want new ideas or creativity. They wanted blind servitude. Yeah. And you know
servitude.
what?
That's a good word.
Yeah, that is a good word. Boy, I love that word too, Bibiana, using it in that context. And that is exactly what I felt when this guy was expressing what he was expressing last night. And I thought, wow, if I can do something to support him, if we can work together in some way in which we can integrate, these ideas. Wouldn't
Right.
that be marvelous? Because he is part of a demographic that is coming up. And here's the thing, and I was reading an article the day before yesterday, before our team meeting on Monday, and I'm not sure if I expressed this during the team meeting, but I was reading this article, and this article said that several uh, um, managers, like upper level management, would quickly hire college graduates, but they're quickly firing them or laying them off. And I was just like, why? What is happening? And they said, we don't understand their value set. They don't want to come to work. They don't want to. It's because they haven't necessarily been in the workforce. We've all been through it. We all went through it in regards to like being the first ones in there, trying to get experience. Do you ever remember, as somebody younger where you got out of college and you had done college jobs? You worked through college. I worked through college. I've been working since I was 15, right? And yet they would say, you don't have enough experience. You don't have enough experience. And I'm thinking, well, how am I going to get this experience if I don't have enough experience? Where do you want me to begin?
Right.
Right.
It's that
So
catch 22.
right. Um and so I would usually get the jobs and I would follow their process, or I would try and implement different things like maybe new ideas for an SOP or new and different things. And they would be okay with it. Most jobs would be okay with it. But here's the problem with that article. What is also really stood out to me is, why are we releasing these people when we should actually be the ones training and helping mold them and showing them new ways, different ways, understanding their ways, coming together on some shared ideas, shared goals, shared visions, co-collaborating, co-creating together? How can we do that better? And that's something that Core Mentorship Solutions absolutely does. And that's why this particular subject matter, creating creativity unleashed, is so important. Because how are we opening our minds and getting rid of that power differential where we're allowing this to sink in, to be digested without the ego getting in the way? Right?
Mhm.
Because we are absolutely going to have to change the way we see things, because things just evolve naturally, right? Organically. And so if we're not, as you said, Jen, if we're not changing with that, with the times, integrating innovation, integrating creativity and new ideas, we're going to be at the same place we were yesterday, the day before, last week, last year. And is that helping our
Right.
business? No, not at all. So when this young man started talking, I thought, I'm going to write down his address. I'm going to write down his email, and I'm going to write him, and I'm going to write him, and I'm going to reach out to him. And that's what I'm going to do. But because I think there's value in supporting our young folks and understanding what their new ideas are, what their challenges are, so we can be part of the solution. So,
Yeah. It's so wild to me how they get shot down with with their ideas and their ways, and it's like it's such a lack of understanding. And I'm reminded of how incredible they are because when I have meetings with for the youth center, and I'm on the board of directors for this nonprofit that's local here in Southern California, and we have high school students that help out, and they're like sort of board members, and I just watch them sometimes. We even have an annual awards for volunteers that do work, and they have to get up and talk. And I'm just watching them. I'm like, these kids are like 16, 17, 18, and they have like the I'm telling you, they blow me away. And I'm like, man,
right?
you speak better than adults I know. And I'm just looking at these
Yes,
kids. I'm looking at these kids. I'm like, how are people not willing to listen to these kids? It's just crazy. Like you have no idea how much value they can offer your company and all the ideas and stuff and just sort of their way of thinking. It's so refreshing for when I have some of them in some of my meetings and I'm just like, wow, I can't believe like you're a junior. It's crazy.
Isn't that amazing? And it's heartwarming to me.
Right.
I get to be so excited that, we're watching this happen right in front of us and they're able to, state their ideas, articulate, what their feelings are. To me, that's fabulous. And so, as I watch this, as, one of the examples I'm going to give too is I was asked to be a reviewer of some of the applications for scholarships for at UC Berkeley, right?
Uh-huh.
And for the students that were looking at transferring in, and I was looking and reading these submissions, and I was just like, I don't even know who to bet. Like, I they had a
They
ranking
all look
scale.
great.
They were all incredible. They
Hard,
were
right?
all incredible. And I was just like, man, this is so hard, in regards to ranking and stuff. And because I just cherished every single one of those stories. And so if we take that information in, if we can teach a process, because they may not know the process, younger folks may not know a process. And that's where we need to begin. That's where we need to start implementing. I want to get to some of these creative solutions too, because, and
Yeah.
I do want to read Viviana's, what she wrote here, her comment. My dad worked for a huge company in the 70s that had a suggestion box that actually paid employees if the suggestions made a difference in the culture or process. It was very successful. That I
Oh,
absolutely love. And
that's
I've heard
so
of that
cool.
before. That is very cool. I
Yeah. Oh,
love
she
that.
did you read this one? She said the sad part is that on the surface, people say they want innovation, but are very fast to discourage the people who can see through the established systems. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I've been there before. I've been there before. Absolutely.
Right.
With big corporations and for-profit corporations. Absolutely. Um, it
You wanna
seems
share your thing before you do the nugget?
Yeah, absolutely. So, a couple of things that I really want to share is again, this is kind of associated with free association. Do some mind wandering. Give yourself some time, allow yourself, your brain to relax and just, think about things that are creative that might pertain to your business in a place where you have some relaxation time where your brain is allowed to wander. Because I know that happens to me in the shower. That is my place. I've said this many times before, being in the shower for me is like, okay, my mind is just wandering and I'm able to do some free association and just kind of like, you know, kind of like map out some of my ideas in the shower. It's just that's the way that I mind wander. So do
Mhm.
some mind wandering, do some creative banking as well. So when you come up with ideas, just start making a list. Bank those ideas because that list, and I have many lists around here, bank those ideas, do some creative banking. And when you need a new concept or you need something that pertains, just look at your list. And I'm sure that'll support whatever you're trying to do. And also bring people in, group genius, bring people in to talk about an idea. And guess what we did that yesterday? Group genius. So
We do that every week.
we do that every week, and I'm so excited because it's like, you know, even for yesterday, Jen and I do Group Genius, right? And we get together and we brainstorm and we bring in ideas and we bring in new people and it is so exciting. But those are three things just right off the bat I'd like for you to try and do is some mind wandering, creative banking, and also Group Genius. Bring in other people, bring in new ideas. Jen, your nugget.
Okay, my nugget is take some time if you, haven't done this, do something creative. It can be writing, it can be painting, it can do something fun. Because I think sometimes we get so caught up in work, 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 and then I hear people say like, "Oh, I haven't done anything fun in a while." Like, stop that madness. It's 2025's coming. Okay, take some time to do something fun and creative. Like, play a board game. Do something. Like, find ways to bring play and fun back into your life at least once a week. I would encourage you to do it every day, but at least once a week because I think some of us have gotten so busy that we're moving away from that. So please bring back the fun and creativity if you've gotten far away from it.
Oh, I love that.
Thanks.
Bibiana says, I watch fractals on YouTube with space music, and she also bakes bread.
Oh, I've watched fractals.
Have you watched
It's
fractals
interesting.
with the space music?
It's like this repeating thingy. Oh no, my computer. Okay, I thought my computer died. I'm still here,
Oh,
right?
no. Oh, Mike reads comic books. I
Oh
love
yeah. Oh
that.
yeah. Mike is Batman.
Is he? Oh my gosh, it's so cool. I love that.
Yeah,
See?
baked bread.
We have to just okay, drop if you're listening to this, if you're watching the replay, drop in your ideas about how you brought in creativity into your life because I love these things that you're all doing.
So
Um,
fun.
I like decorating. So
Oh yeah, you are
I,
so good at
I
that.
I like decorating around the house, and I also this season I I used spray paint for the first time to make these mini little Christmas houses,
Oh,
and
is
I
that the
was
one you did with Shawnee?
yeah, the one I did with
Oh
Shani, so
yeah, yeah,
the
those are
floor
so
was meant
cute.
I know it,
And they lit up. They had
and
little lights
they light
inside.
up, and so and then you I decorated them all as pieces to go somewhere in the house for the holiday, but it was the first time I used spray paint, and I was like, "Okay." It was a process for me, like, I need a mask, I need this, I need to lay out stuff so I don't get the paint everywhere, but it was fun, and then I let it sit overnight, so it was all dry, so by the time I went and, decorated the houses, they were ready. And
Yeah.
so for me, I allowed myself that time
Oh,
to get creative.
yeah. I loved it. And then you know what's so fun? I had fun just looking at their final product and even in the
Oh.
process. Like it's like I had fun seeing them have fun.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
and it was just their pictures, but yeah. So thank you for doing that for yourself.
Yeah, I love that, and before that, I used to go painting, and I'd paint, like, pieces of, pottery or whatever, so and then I'd, like, kiln them, and then, I have bowls and plates and stuff that I've made, you know?
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, so and I just signed my name at the bottom and, it was
Pottery
really
is
fun.
so
I
fun.
love it, and I
Yeah.
just put on my earphones or whatever and just listen to music and kinda disappear in the creativity.
Yeah,
So
Mike said another way for me talking to my daughters ages 30, 22, and 20, and my wife, they stir my thinking and creativity. Oh my gosh, yes, I'm sure they do.
absolutely. My husband and I do that at night during dinner sometimes, and I kind of, tell him about something, and then, he gives me his ideas, and we go back and forth, and I'm like, okay, this is cool. This gets me thinking about something new in a different way. So,
Right.
absolutely. My nugget would be, um, yes, and it's kind of going to piggyback off what you said, and it's kind of up the whole clinical, avenue. It's more of do some free association, do some of that mind wandering. Allow yourself to have that downtime where you can close your eyes and just let your mind wander and wonder about new ideas and how they're part of your process or could be. And you can even have your phone right next to you and just put on the recording button and just talk into it as you're letting your mind wander. So with
Love
that
it.
said, thank you so much. Thank you, Jen.
Thank
And
you.
again, Jen, tell people the name of your book so that they can go out and check it out
Okay, it's
and where
called
they can find you.
the Creative Code. You can find it on Amazon. It has this really colorful face on the cover. You can't miss it, like a bunch of paint. So it's
Yeah.
called The Creative Code.
And then next week we are talking about, let's see, we are talking about building stronger businesses with cross generational mentorship. Oh my gosh, we're
Yay!
so excited. All right, we are going to dance this out like we do every week. Thank you all for being here. It always makes us so excited when we see that you're on and we're able to read your comments because we really enjoy them and other people can appreciate them too. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this week. And thank you, Jen.
Thank you.
Let's dance this out.
Thank you
Bye,
guys for being
everyone.
here.
Thank you. Take care. Bye, everyone. Take care.